If you are not using iCMTGIS 3 or iCMTGIS Pro, then skip this section as well as the 2 additional setup sections in this video. iCMTGIS 3 and iCMTGIS Pro will let you specify what datum the GPS receiver uses and what the antenna height is. To do so in iCMTGIS 3, select GPS under Main Menu Setup. Select the datum, as well as the region in which you are working. Please select the datum to which the data from your GPS receiver is referenced. For example, if the GPS data is referenced to WGS 84, 1150 ITRF00, then select this datum for the datum field. On the other hand, if the GPS data is differentially corrected by using the base data from a local base station, then the rover output will use the datum of the base station. Therefore, if the base station coordinates are referenced to the NAD 83 Cors 96 datum, then select the NAD 83 Cors 96 datum for the datum field. The GNSS measurement epoch field is for entering the central epoch of the measurement data from the GNSS receiver. For example, if you are collecting data in 2022, then enter 0601 and 2022. Internally, the app stores position data in the WGS 84, 1150 ITRF00 reference frame. Therefore, if the datum you select is not WGS 84, 1150 ITRF00, then a datum transformation will be automatically performed, and the measurement epoch plays a role. If the datum you select is WGS 84, 1150 ITRF00, then there will be no transformation performed before the data is stored. In this case, it doesn't matter what you enter into the GNSS measurement epoch. The antenna height is the distance of the GPS receiver antenna above the ground. If you are using a small GPS receiver antenna, simply enter its distance from the ground into the slant height field. If your antenna has a large base, and you are unable to measure its height at the center, then you would measure the distance from the antenna's rim to the ground below the center of the antenna, and enter it into the slant height field. When you enter the radius of the antenna into the radius field, the app will compute the vertical distance to display it as the antenna height. The antenna height value will be applied to all functions that use locations obtained from the GPS receiver, except for those functions that provide their own antenna height data entry field. In this app, the point stakeout and line stakeout screens provide an antenna height input field. Be sure to enter the actual antenna height in this field when using the point stakeout or the line stakeout function, if it is different from the value you entered under Setup GPS Antenna. On the GPS Setup screen for iCMTGIS Pro, you will tap on the Datum tab to get to the Datum Setup page. Similarly, tap on the Antenna tab to go to the Antenna Height Setup page. iCMTGIS Pro is able to get GPS data directly from a few specific external GPS receivers instead of through the iOS location service. To use the position and satellite information provided by one of these external Bluetooth GPS devices, mark the checkbox for Enable the external GPS. Select the device from the pull-down list. Then select or enter the desired parameters for checking position accuracy. For example, here are the general instructions for using an EOS Aero GPS receiver with the iCMTGIS Pro. 1. Make sure your Aero device is paired and connected with your iPhone or iPad per the manufacturer's instructions. 2. Under Setup GPS, mark the checkbox for Enable the external GPS, select the EOS GNSS receiver, and use the protocol named com.EOS GNSS positioning source. Set up the threshold values for PDOP, RMS, and so on, based on the required accuracy. 3. If you are doing a RTK job, you can use the EOS Tools Pro app to connect to the RTK network. If you are using a GNSS Blue2 or ISX Blue3 GNSS receiver, then please follow these instructions. 1. Make sure your ISX Blue2 or ISX Blue3 GNSS device is paired and connected with your iPhone or iPad per the manufacturer's instructions. 2. Under Setup GPS, mark the checkbox for Enable the external GPS, select the ISX Blue device, and use the protocol named com.genec.sx Blue GPS source. Set up the threshold values for PDOP, RMS, and so on, based on the required accuracy. 3. If you are doing a RTK job, you can run the ISX Blue RTN Trip app to connect to the network. Please note that here external GPS refers only to those GPS receivers, for which this app is able to parse the NMEA message stream. To use any other iOS-compatible external GPS, please turn off, enable the external GPS. As we have seen, with the Enable the external GPS box marked, and a compatible GNSS device and protocol selected, iCMTGIS Pro will let you select a value for the PDOP mask, to limit the acceptable level of dilution of precision. Generally, a PDOP value of 4 or 5 is fine. If you would like to record only positions, for which the elevation is also computed, then mark the checkbox for 3D only. You may turn on Check RMS Limit, and enter a limit value for the horizontal RMS. Then the app will only record GPS data, when the horizontal RMS errors are within this limit. If you will be working with differentially corrected GPS data, then you may select one of the DGPS options. DGPS only, RTK fixed or float, RTK fixed, or any. If you are not using iCMTGIS 3 or iCMTGIS Pro, then skip this section. iCMTGIS 3 and iCMTGIS Pro provide the option to label the line segments, areas and corner angles of the selected feature, where applicable. You can define the front color and size for the labels after selecting Feature Labels under Main Menu, Setup. Mark the Show White Background checkbox, if you wish to have the labels displayed on a white background, to make them stand out better over a satellite map. If you are not using iCMTGIS 3 or iCMTGIS Pro, then skip this section. iCMTGIS 3 and iCMTGIS Pro let you load a GeoTIFF image as a background map. Loading one or more large GeoTIFF images will take up file storage space in your device. When you no longer need to use a loaded GeoTIFF image, you can use the Clear Cache function under Main Menu, Setup, to delete it. If you've loaded a GeoTIFF image using an incorrect coordinate system, then you must clear the cache before you will be able to reload the image into the correct coordinate system.